Hey guys, my name is Ben Howard. Today we're out here at Woodruff Disc Golf Course getting ready for the Hubcity Amateur Championships. Getting ready to start the back nine, so if you haven't watched the front nine, I go back and watch that. But right now we're on hole 10. It's a par 4, 500 feet. Basket's straight ahead, tucked off into the wood line, probably about 60 feet, I'd say. But on your tee shot, the biggest thing you're trying to do is just get something out there as far as you can so you have an easy approach out to the green. Biggest thing to pay attention to is we've got an OB walking path off to the left, and the rough off to the right is basically OB because there's not, unless you throw something like really far down in there and you're like really close to the basket, then you might be able to get up and down. But a lot of times you're just gonna have to pitch straight back out to the fairway. So the play I like to do is just throw something that's kind of overstable, but mainly just straight, flat through the, just right up the middle of the fairway, and try and use the side of the hill as a backstop. Because it's also a lot better to be off to the left side because it opens up the gap into the basket. But biggest thing I don't want to do in this shot is just obviously give it too much height, because then it's very easy for the disc to get up and go over the hill and go OB left. That looks really good. Just don't skip. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so this is about as good of a tee shot as I could ask for. Really, all I got to do is just chip something around this corner and get up to the basket. Only real danger on this approach shot is I think there's like a ditch behind the basket. So if I want to be anywhere, I want to be a little short of it, but it should be fine. Worst case scenario, I think you're like outside a circle or something like that from in the ditch. So just get up and down. That was good. Get through the branches. Ooh. Those branches might have killed me, but I should at least have a putt for bird. Get there. Ah, man. So close. Got a little scared of that ditch behind the basket, but I mean, it's really not that bad. Like, even if I did miss it long or like chain high, I'd still be like inside the circle. So nothing really to worry about with that ditch. All right, guys, we're on hole 11. This is a par 3, 420 feet. Basket's just dead straight ahead. Biggest thing to pay attention to, we've got these branches that off to the right that hang out right in front of the basket. So you need to throw something out to the left that'll bend back right near the end, but it'll still be pushing forward for you. So some kind of like flip up forehand maybe, or what I'm gonna try and do is just a backhand. It'll flip up, turn, and hopefully push straight near the end. This hole can turn into a very big number very fast. So taking a putter or some kind of mid-range, just putting it in the middle and then just getting up and down for your par is a very good play on this hole. But I want to try and get the birdie on this hole because I've never got it. So let's see if we can do it today. Ooh, it's bending. Okay. Okay. I think I threw it a little too far left and a little too low, and it ended up kind of cut rolling into the woods. I might be far enough down there to where I can get up and down for a par. We just have to kind of see. I'll throw another one though. Yeah, it's gonna be left, but that might be the play, because if you can get past that little corner up here, get up there, you'll probably have like a 40, 50 foot look from the left side. Granted, it's an uphill putt, but I mean, it's better than being early left, so we'll see. Okay, so I thought that cut roll was going to put me back in this area, but I actually got a nice forward roll out of it. Probably like right at the edge of circle 2. Don't really have a look because this branch right here in front of me, but I'll just go ahead and lay it up and get out of here with a par. That's it. Yep, perfect. The Zeus ended up actually being in a really good spot. I was probably about 40 feet just on the edge of the tree line. So might be something to think about, just instead of trying to get something that'll bend late, trying to control the disc through that like last third of the flight, just trying to just push something up here, have it fade off to the left, and give myself like a circle 2 look for birdie. Something to think about. All right, guys, we're on hole 12. It's par 3, 174 feet. Basket's just straight ahead. Only thing to really worry about is there's some OB that's way off to the left, but I think that's just like a property line or something like that. So it doesn't really come into play too often unless you get like a really nasty kick. But really all I'm trying to do is just throw something just at these trees on the left side of the fairway, get them to bend off of it and just push straight the rest of the way to the basket. Ah, dang it. No anhyzer out of my hand at all. Ugh. One more. Come on, hit the line. There it is. Get around them. Okay. I hit them, so I have like a 20-footer. Yes. Drop. Okay. I think that's like 15 feet left side of the basket. There we go. And what do you know? I actually got distance right for once. All right, guys, so on hole 13, this is a par 3, 320 feet. Basket's up ahead, tucked off to the right. Probably about 40 feet right of the second telephone pole. But off the tee, you're really trying to decide which side of this telephone pole you want to go on. You can go left side of it with the backhand turnover, or right side with the flex forehand. I like the flex forehand because for me, a lot of times my miss with the forehand is short, and there's actually a good amount of room short of the basket where you can make a putt. Whereas my miss, if I went through the left side, would probably be I wouldn't get it to turn over enough, and I'd end up about where that telephone pole is. And a lot of times you can end up like past the telephone pole and have like a 50-foot look. So hopefully I can get this up there and get like a 30-foot look from the forehand. Okay, I heard it hit something, so I'm probably going to be on the shorter side, but I still should have a look. I'll throw one more real quick. Okay, yeah, that's the miss I'm scared of, going the left side of the telephone pole, because I might have an open look from there, but it's going to be a long look, and you're putting towards like a bunch of stuff behind the basket. I think it's a little downhill from there, so it's a little bit more risky, but we'll take a look at it when we get up there. I might be wrong. Okay, so I was wrong about the telephone pole. It's actually like 25 feet from the basket. And it's actually a little short of the basket too. I assumed it was like long and super far left of it, but really, if you put something just at the telephone pole or just the right side of the telephone pole, that gives you like a really, really makeable putt. So that's a really good thing to look out for. But from here, I'm out in the open. I've got a little bit of a gap, but I can still make this. So let's go into it. Ah, slipped out of my hand early. Still hit the gap though. All right, guys, we're on hole 14. This is a par 3, 250 feet. Basket's up here, tucked off to the left, about 60 feet from the middle of the fairway. Best play I've really found is take an overstable fairway driver, throw it out flat, a little bit slower than you would normally, like somewhere in like 60 to 70% range, and just try and get it to fade hard left. Biggest thing though is just controlling your power on this one, because if you hit it too hard and go too far, you can end up with like a weird death putt that's like and probably end up like 50, 60 feet from the basket long. And if you end up early left, it's basically jail. You're probably going to take a bogey from there. So really just got to be careful with my power on this one, but just hit the line flat. Just try and get the swing hard. Swing. Okay, that's a good kick. That was close. I just need it right in the middle. I'll throw one more. Sure. It's going to be long. Yeah, that's long in the gap. Let's see. One more. Okay. I'm still pulling it a little right. I need it just to the left side of these two trees off the right side, but that mutant might be a little bit better. We'll have to see. Okay, so the mutant and the xenon were like right on top of each other, and these two were a little too short because, as you can tell, the gap I would have to hit is like not even like standing this way. It's about 6 feet wide, but from the angle I'd have to hit it on, it's probably closer to like 3 feet wide. And the cloud breaker was actually closer to the actual intended gap, which is a much wider. It's also got a lot more hard packed ground. You can kind of see right here in front of us where you can actually get a good skip and get down there to the basket. So I'll probably stick with the Xenon for now, but I might try the Cloud Breaker if I'm not getting the Xenon far enough on my tee shots. But let's go ahead and make a putt. Oh, it didn't fade. Sit. Ooh, okay. Okay, that's not too bad. That'll probably be like a 20-footer. There we go. All right, guys, so we're on hole 15. This is a par 3, 270 feet. Basket's just straight ahead. Biggest thing to pay attention to is we're going way uphill. So this plays closer to like 300 to 310 maybe. Biggest thing you want to do, though, is just try and put something to these 3 trees that are in the middle of the fairway, because it's hard to get around them unless you just kind of get lucky. So, but if you get to them, you'll have like about a 25-foot look at a birdie. So about the best you can hope for on this hole without actually getting past them. Ooh, ooh, beautiful kick. Oh, yeah, just short of the trees. Ooh, almost. All right, guys, we're on hole 16. This is a par 3, 312 feet. Basket's tucked way off to the right once you get through this gap. This is actually different pin placement than the one I played last time I was here. Last time I was here, it was closer to that bridge you can kind of see straight ahead of us, just slightly off to the right. But now it's like brought up probably 60 feet and tucked off 30 feet from where it was. So I got 4 discs I'm going to try. 2 forehands, 2 backhands. Just see what kind of gaps are down there. Main play is going to be the forehand just to see. I feel like that's going to be the more consistent play for me. But we'll see. I came out on Anheuser. I need it flat out of my hand. Try this different strategy on this one. Didn't work. That's closer than what I need, though. Let's see. Now for the backhands. Oh, go through just straight through the woods at it, I guess. Well, I think I parked the old pin placement. Oops. Let's see. All right, last one. This one, I'm going to slow down on it. Just throw it smooth. Just try and get the bend right. Get around it. Ooh. I'll be really curious to see what that one is, because that feels the most doable. Just taking a driver that's really understable, because it'll get more straight push out of my hand before it starts to turn, and it's easier to throw it like with the Origin. I have to put it on some hyzer, and I have to throw it hard to get it to turn. But with that thing, I can throw it smooth, get it to turn, and then fade out at the end, which I can't really do with the Origin. So might be that one. We'll have to see where they are, though. Okay, so I didn't realize it, but there's actually a really nice fairway that once you cut the corner right, because this is the fairway I was looking at over here to the left, but through here it's actually really nice and open. So I think the backhand's going to be the play for me. Just something understable that I can get to cut early through into this gap and hopefully have it either push straight or even flex out of it at the end. So, but right now I just got to get up and down. Get between them. Ooh! Let's go. Ooh, couldn't do that again if I tried. There we go. Yeah, so the Origin was down here off to the left, almost in the creek. So I guess I got a bad tree kick. And the Hatchet was up here in the woods off to the left, which is probably about edge of circle. So I'll probably go with the Hatchet on this one just to get that late stability. All right, guys, so we're on hole 17. This is a par 3, 280 feet. Basket's just straight ahead through this middle gap. Typically, you'd only have this right gap, but they cut down the tree, making this middle gap, which is not really a gap unless you really just only want to throw something dead straight. But you've also got this gap off to the left, which is actually looks pretty good. Biggest thing you got to pay attention to in this hole is there's a creek that runs through the middle of it and cuts up to the right side of the basket and gets pretty close to it. Probably, I said the closest point, it's like 15 feet to the basket. So you really just want to try and get across it on your first shot and just give yourself a somewhat of a look at the basket. Depending on how they mark the OB on this hole can be very difficult or it can be fairly easy. If they just play it as water's out of bounds, then like there's some places where the water's not even wide enough to actually like surround a disc. So you can get pretty lucky with that. But if they mark the entire like creek as out of bounds, like with paint or something like that, this hole becomes very, very difficult. I think I'm just going to take something out to the right that's overstable, just give it a lot of height, just try and get it to push and then carry left. Not a terribly difficult shot, just really tight, and I really just got to miss this tree in the middle of the right gap. Get around it. Woo! Oh, that might have just hit and rolled back in the creek. That's exactly the line I need on this one. Probably, I might just need to throw something a little faster. Let me throw one more. Too low. That might be across though. Let's see. All right, guys, this is where my Thunderbird ended up. As you can see, it's not surrounded by water, so technically it would be in bounds if they don't mark the creek as out of bounds. So hopefully they do, because I feel like this shot deserves to be out of bounds. But maybe they'll be nice to us. Woo-wee. Barely in bounds. Let's go. I finally didn't get a par. All right, guys, we're on hole 18, final hole of the video. It's par 3, 220 feet. Basket's just straight ahead. Biggest thing to worry about, we got to go back over the creek again, but shouldn't really come into play. Biggest thing you want to do on the tee shot though is just try and push something long in the basket, because then you can actually have flat footing, where if you're short, even if you're like 20 feet, you got to putt uphill like 5 feet. So just makes it a little bit easier if you can get past the basket, but just putting anything up there on the green is going to be really good, because as you can tell, it's a pretty tight tunnel initially off the tee. Oh, pulled it. Get through. Oh, boy. Get left a little for me. Button. Good grief. I'm going to throw one more, because that's just terrible. To actually get that good of a look off that. Ugh. Better. Needed more height, though. Dang it. Gotta make those. Dang it. All right, guys, that finished up a round out here at Woodruff. I'm not too mad with how I played today. But if I'm going to be competitive in MA1, I'm going to have to shoot like 5 to 6 to maybe even 7 strokes better to be anywhere in contention. Because I'm going to assume the hot round out here is going to be somewhere between 11 and 9 under. And 1 under is not going to cut it. So just I'm going to have to work on my accuracy a little bit. And like, as you could tell, there's a lot of strokes out here that I could make up. I'm just going to have to work on my execution a little bit more. But also, as you could tell, this is the first time I played this course in a while. So I'm going to have a much better time under knowing what shots I need to throw on these holes and actually know what I'm trying to do on a lot of these holes. Because a lot of the blind ones, I was thinking they were like 30 feet right of where they were or left of where they were. So just something I have to work on. I didn't even realize it, but this is the first time I've actually played this course on my channel. So just to do a quick review, um, I would say the best way to describe this course is like Pipeline if you tick the difficulty down like 1 or 2 notches, because it's got a lot of the same elements where you've got like a lot of elevation, tight wooded lines obviously, and a lot of rough on either side of the fairways. But a lot of the shots it's asking you to do aren't as difficult as the ones that they're asking you to do at Pipeline, and there's not as quite as much danger as there out here as there is at Pipeline. So also this course has probably the best practice area I've seen out of a course, because you've got a wide open like 600-foot field out here with, I mean, there's people walking by, but like pretty rare that there are people out here that can get in your way. And you've got 2 really nice practice baskets out here. So if you're looking for a place to come out and like practice, do field work, this is a really good course to come out and do it. Because not only can you throw out in the open, but then you can come into the woods, throw more touchy shots. Only real critique I would say I have is like some of the tee pads feel really small, and a lot of times it doesn't come into play because like I said, this course isn't very long, so you don't really need a full run up. But some of the holes, like hole 18, it kind of messed with me, where like I'm trying to throw it hard, but I really can't get a full run up into it, and I'm trying to over exert myself and end up pulling it, which obviously that's on me. That's not on the course. So, but I guess it's less of a complaint and more of just like a heads up that like some of these tee pads are a little bit smaller than you might be used to. But really fun course. Highly recommend if you've never been out here for some reason. I'll be out here playing the flex start tomorrow, so hopefully I'll see some of y'all out there. But thank y'all so much for watching. Have a good one. Bye.